Respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me a few quiet minutes of your life, minutes that may change the way you see money, work, and your own worth. I speak to you not as someone above you, but as someone who has watched life closely, patiently, sometimes painfully, and learned lessons most people discover too late. There is a strange mystery in this world. Two people wake up early every morning. Both work hard, both sweat, both sacrifice, and yet one slowly builds freedom, while the other stays trapped year after year, wondering where life went wrong. It feels unfair, almost cruel, but it is not an accident. It is destiny shaped by decisions, not effort alone. Let me tell you a truth no one likes to say out loud. Hard work by itself has never guaranteed wealth. In fact, for many people, it has quietly guaranteed poverty. I've met people who worked for 40 years, never lazy, never careless, and still retired worried, dependent, and afraid. And I've met others who worked less with their hands, but far more with their minds, and built a life of calm, choice, and dignity. This story is not about blaming the hardworking, it is about waking them up. You see, most hardworking people were taught a very simple formula. Work hard, stay loyal, be patient, and everything will work out. It sounds noble, comforting, safe, but safety, when misunderstood, becomes a cage. I once knew a man, let's call him Ahmed. Ahmed never missed a day of work. He said no to vacations, no to risks, no to change. Every month his salary arrived, and every month it vanished. Bills, comforts, small rewards for surviving another exhausting week. He wasn't irresponsible. He was obedient to a system that rewarded effort, not ownership. Hard-working people often confuse movement with progress. They are busy, constantly busy, but busy running on a wheel someone else owns. The uncomfortable truth is this: we are paid not by how hard we work, but by how hard we are to replace. And most hard-working people never stop to ask that question. They trade time for money every single day, without realizing time is the only thing that never renews. Money can return, energy can recover, but time, once spent, is gone forever. There is another silent trap. Hard-working people seek comfort before freedom. A stable paycheck feels like security, but security without growth slowly becomes fear. Fear of losing the job, fear of trying something new, fear of thinking long-term. And so they stay, not because they are weak, but because they are tired. No one teaches them how money actually works. No one teaches them that income is temporary, but assets are patient. That savings protect you, but ownership frees you. That consistency matters, but direction matters more. Most hard-working people invest their best years into someone else's dream, then wonder why their own never arrives. This is not a criticism, it is a warning, delivered with respect. Because the truth is, wealth is not built by exhaustion, it is built by clarity, by patience, by learning how to make money work even when you sleep. And here is the hardest part to accept. Hard work is admirable, but blind hard work is dangerous. If you never pause, if you never question, if you never learn the rules of the game you are playing, you can give your entire life and still lose. So before we go any further, sit with this thought for a moment. What if your struggle is not because you are not doing enough, but because you are doing the wrong things perfectly every single day? And now, let us continue, because once you see the problem, you must have the courage to face the deeper truth. Most hard-working people are not poor because they lack discipline. They are poor because their discipline is pointed in the wrong direction. They wake up early, follow routines, respect authority, and do exactly what is expected of them. Society praises them, employers rely on them, families depend on them, but wealth quietly passes them by. Why? Because hard-working people are trained to consume first and think later. The moment money comes in, it is already assigned a job, rent, bills, upgrades, comforts, small luxuries that make the pain of work feel bearable. There is nothing evil in this, it is human. When life is hard, the mind seeks relief. But rich thinking works in reverse. It asks one calm question before spending a single rupee or dollar. Will this make my future easier or only my present more comfortable? I once watched two young men receive their first real paycheck. One celebrated by upgrading his lifestyle. Better phone, better clothes, better dinners. He looked successful, felt successful, for a while. The other lived exactly the same way as before, quiet, almost boring, but he bought books, he learned skills, he invested small amounts into things he barely understood at first, but stayed patient. 10 years later, one was still hard-working and worried. The other was calm, not rich overnight, but free enough to choose.
Hard-working people are taught to avoid risk at all costs, but they are never told that avoiding all risk is the biggest risk of all. There are two kinds of risks in life, the risk of trying and the risk of staying exactly where you are. Most people choose the second one because it feels safer, but slowly, quietly, it compounds into regret. Another painful truth, hard-working people focus on income, not leverage. They believe more hours equal more money, but wealth comes from leverage, knowledge, systems, ownership, patience, and time. When your income stops the moment you stop working, you are not building wealth, you are renting survival. And the system loves this. Because tired people don't question, busy people don't learn, exhausted people don't plan long-term. So they say things like, I'll start investing when I earn more. I'll think about the future after things settle down. I'm not good with money. These are not facts, they are beliefs, inherited, repeated, and never examined. Wealthy thinking is quiet. It doesn't rush, it doesn't panic. It understands that small, boring decisions made consistently outlive dramatic effort. This is why hard-working people stay poor without realizing it. They are loyal to effort but disconnected from strategy. They trust time but don't respect compounding. They sacrifice today without designing tomorrow. But here is the hopeful truth, and I want you to hear this clearly. Nothing is broken beyond repair. The moment you shift from how hard can I work to how wisely can I think, your destiny begins to change. And that brings us to the final, most important realization, the one that separates struggle from peace. Let us go deeper, because this is where everything quietly comes together. The final reason hard-working people stay poor is not money, it is identity. Most people see themselves as workers first and thinkers second. They take pride in being reliable, dependable, always available. These are honorable traits, but they become chains when they replace curiosity. Wealth does not respond to obedience, it responds to understanding. Hard-working people often wait for permission to grow. Permission from a boss, permission from society, permission from circumstances. But wealth grows in those who act before they feel ready, who learn while moving, who accept small mistakes early to avoid big regrets later. I have seen people work for decades without ever learning how money multiplies. They save but never invest. They earn but never own. They plan but never execute. They are afraid of looking foolish, but never afraid of staying stuck. The wealthy make peace with uncertainty. They understand that confusion is the price of growth, that discomfort is temporary, but regret can last a lifetime. Here is a truth that sounds simple yet changes everything. If your money depends only on your effort, you will always be limited by your energy. But if your money depends on your thinking, your patience, your systems, it begins to grow beyond you. Hard-working people often underestimate time. They want quick relief, not long-term design. But wealth is slow, quiet, almost invisible at first. It grows while you are bored. It grows while you are doubting. It grows while others are quitting. And one day, without noise, without drama, it gives you something priceless: choice. Choice to say no, choice to slow down, choice to live with dignity instead of desperation. This is not about becoming rich to impress others. It is about becoming free enough to live honestly. So, if you are hardworking, tired, and wondering why life feels stuck, do not work harder. Pause, learn, think long-term, build something that works even when you rest. Because the goal was never to work forever. The goal was to outgrow the need to. Now I will ask you one simple question. Then let us end this journey, calmly, truthfully, and with purpose. If there is one lesson I hope stays with you, it is this: hard work is a tool, not a strategy. It can build strength, discipline, and character, but without direction, it builds nothing lasting. The world is full of honest, exhausted people who did everything they were told and still feel behind. Their pain is real, their effort was real, but effort without understanding is a silent trap. Wealth is not a reward for suffering, it is a reward for clarity. It comes to those who learn how money behaves, how time multiplies decisions, and how patience quietly defeats urgency. It comes to those who stop asking, "How much can I earn?" and start asking, "How can I design a life that doesn't depend on constant effort?" You don't need to abandon hard work. You need to elevate it. Work on skills that compound. Invest in knowledge that grows quietly. Own pieces of systems instead of renting your time forever. And above all, think long-term in a world addicted to shortcuts. Your future will not be shaped by one dramatic moment, but by small, thoughtful choices repeated when no one is watching. Remember this: money is not the goal. Freedom is. Peace is. Choice is. And those things come to people who are willing to pause, reflect, and change direction before it is too late. May you build wealth without losing yourself. May you earn without fear. And may your work one day serve your life, not consume it. Thank you for listening, and may your journey forward be calm, intentional, and free.